Hey, what's up? We're here today at the Weekly Read, and it's your boy, I'm back, Colby Shelley, you know what I mean? And I'm here with a very special guest, coincidentally, who is not only the guest, but is also your main host. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Okay, so this is fun. We decided that we were going to do something fun this week because I'm just going to make a quick announcement. Colby is actually joining the show. He's going to be helping me, and the show last week went great, so we decided that he was going to come back because my last person canceled. But as you guys know, I am the main host, Danae, yeah, I know, right? And it's so nice to be back with you guys this week. But this week's show, Colby is going to kind of take over, and I'm excited to see how he does.
Absolutely. You know, it's actually kind of funny because I really didn't expect the way like this whole thing transpired. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
Crazy
things happen.
It really is. Like I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, I remember like when you were still in school and you invited me to come to your radio show up there, and I totally forgot. And I did not show. I felt so bad. And then like obviously we reconnected and we hooked up, and I came back, and it was just like I feel like, you know, the universe was just.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was doing this thing, and I was like, let's see what can happen when we put y'all together. So, you know, and here we are, and you know, I guess we start off with that. You know what I mean? And because I'm just freestyling now, because I feel confident enough to do that because I enjoy talking about these. So, I guess my first question would be, if we're part two in our previous conversation, is like, what do you consider to be like your ideal like relationship? And I ask that because I notice a lot when it comes to women, they have this ideal version of a man, or they have this romanticized version of what a relationship should be, and I want to know, like, what is that for you, or if you even have that at all?
Honestly, I was just talking about this with my grandma, because my grandparents were great examples of what love should look like, in my opinion, and so are my parents. So something that makes me feel the way I feel when I look at my parents or my grandparents, that's really the only thing I'm asking for. I don't look for anything specific. I just like want the feeling. And I believe that there's a certain type of person that will be able to give me that, but that's like a completely different question. But at the end of the day, I'm honestly just looking for something that makes me feel like that old school, like black, genuine love.
Yeah, that Black Panther. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I feel that. I guess too, like for me, like I used to have this romanticized version of like, you know, what I wanted my girlfriend to be like, what I wanted like to be as like a boyfriend and stuff like that. In a lot of ways, I got to fulfill those things within different relationships. You know, I got to be, you know, the guy that spoiled his girlfriend. I got the girlfriend, you know, who spoiled me, you know, who loved me and I loved her. I got the relationship where, you know, I was the man, I was real dominant, she was very submissive. Like I had all those things, and it was just like, I still know what I want, but I still feel like I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I think for me, I'm not like I like to give gifts, but I'm not like a huge like, oh, you need to give me something, you know, like I like to spoil people. So
do I.
yeah, so it's nice when it's reciprocated, but I don't think like, you know, gifts aren't really a big thing to me, at least. I love them, but like they're not huge. I also, just because I feel like now I'm really answering your question, but I'm not a huge like gender roles person, so like I don't think that a man should have to pay for me because we go out to eat. I feel like we can split the bill, or I could pay for you, or you could pay for me, and we just kind of rock out like that, because I don't know, that's just not like what I believe.
I want to go back to what you said about how gifts aren't really a thing, and that makes me think about the 5 love languages. Like, I know for me, one of like my top one is probably has to be like words of affirmation. Like, I need you to tell me.
Yeah, I'm like you have to tell me and show me.
Yeah, you need to tell me, like, you know, that you love me. Yeah, like that I look good. Like, I feel like, to me, that's because I'm real like ego driven in that way, and I feel like most men probably are. But it's like, you know, I'd be okay if I can just see you as much as I can. And you know, you tell me, oh, babe, you look so sexy and shit like that. You know, you want to kiss all on me, like, you know, touch and all that kind of shit. But like, I don't require like gifts on Valentine's Day. I don't require you to like. I'm not gonna give you a Christmas list and everything. I want you to give me yours so I can get that for you, because I feel like that's what I need to do as a man. Is like, you know, give that to you. Because even when women tell me, you know, say like you who don't really like to get gifts, I still feel like I have to. It's just like,
well, most people do.
Yeah.
You know, but just, you know, I guess to kind of like circle back, when I think of like myself in a relationship and like what I expect as well, I think, and this I guess would be a good topic to talk about, is just how much are we supposed to communicate with each other? Because I'm not the type of person who feels like I need to talk to you all day, every day, or like even every day. And, you know, I was talking to my grandmother about, like I said earlier, I was talking to her, and she was telling me about how back when her and my grandfather first started dating, like in the 19 whatevers, the 50s.
the 20s.
No, they're not that old. When they started dating in like the 50s and stuff, like couples didn't talk every day. Like, so why do we feel the need to talk every day now?
I think it has a lot to do with just what we hold in our pockets. Like that's our phones. Like we're so accessible. Like you can live down the street from me, and I will never come see you, but I'll text you every damn minute. Like that's something is so. The whole component of having a cell phone adds a whole different dynamic to a relationship than it would when your grandparents were young. Like,
but if they can make it work though, why can't we?
It's a different age. It's really a different age. Like back then, you could a man could have a whole second life, a different city down, a different town down. Nowadays, like,
and you would never know.
You would never know, and the wife would be content with never knowing. And if she did find out, she wouldn't want to leave him because like that's all she knows. You know what I mean? And I was telling my mom this. She was telling me how her grandmother, my nana, my great grandmother, like, you know, all they knew was like getting married and have kids. They grew up in the South. They grew up on a farm. So it was like they weren't taught to be educated. They weren't taught to, you know, be wise with their money. They were only taught to be with somebody so you can grow a farm, procreate, boom. So it's like nowadays, that's not really the motto. The motto is like, get with somebody, whether it be long term or short term, and see where that shit goes. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So do you think you could date a girl who didn't necessarily want to talk or text every day?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Well, date or be with. Because if we're dating, I'm not talking to you every day. But if I'm with you, if I want to be with you, I'm okay with not talking to her. Because honestly, like, maybe in the beginning, the puppy love stage.
I feel like in the beginning,
yeah, but after a while, like, because I'll pull back, and then they'll text me, how come you didn't text me? And I'm just like, I didn't feel like it. Yeah. And then it becomes a whole situation.
But it's not personal. Yeah, it's just, I just don't.
I can't tell you how many times people would take that shit personal with me. And I genuinely, like, I'm not the type of person who's like malicious. I don't do things to cause harm. I may be petty every once in a while. But yeah, like, generally speaking, like in the morning, I'm getting ready for work. I gotta go to work. I gotta be at work all day. And then you get home and you're tired and you don't feel like it. You know, I think it is a good point. It is good to point out the distinction and the difference between just dating and been dating for a long time. Because at the beginning, when you just start dating someone, that's all you want to do is talk to them all day. Yeah. After you're like 3 years out, it's like, I can go like a day or two. Yeah, like I know you're cool. You know I'm cool. I can go. You know, so I definitely do think that there's a difference in how long. It depends on how long we've been dating. And not only that, I've dealt with girls who didn't like the fact that I didn't want to text every day because for them, they were insecure and they were coming from like a scarcity mindset where it's just like, if he's not texting me,
then who's he texting?
Who's he texting? Yeah. Or if he ain't texting me, who's he with? Yeah. Or like, you know, or he don't want to talk to me. I did something. I must have did something wrong. And it's just like, say like, I'll tell one of my girls, I'll be like, hey, you know, I'm going with my family. Thanksgiving come up. I'm at Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
You know,
I'm not texting you.
I'm gonna be away from my phone. I'm gonna be with my family. I come back to calls, texts, type of nonsense. I'm just like, what did I say? Like, what? I don't. And I feel like with that, like to reel it all back in, it's just like to establish a mutual understanding of like we don't have to talk every day because we already know what it is.
Right.
And for me, if I feel like you're that insecure, you need to talk to me every second. I'm gonna.
It's not gonna be.
Like you're gonna have a hard like time with me. Right. So I'm not gonna feed into that shit any more than I already do.
Right.
You know.
So we talked a little bit about text messaging, which I think the thing that makes the most sense to bring up next is social media. Do you think it's important that people post their significant others on social media?
Nowadays it sickens me. I'm gonna hold you.
I think I completely agree. And you know what I found? I found that the couples who will like go all out and post all the pictures and post the long captions are the couples that are the least happy.
Yeah, You took the words right out of my mouth. It's like I remember back when I was in high school, this girl who I knew, because at the time my brother he had his first kid with this girl and everything. And she was like, "Oh, I love your brother and your girl's relationship and his girl's relationship and everything." Mind you, they lived with me and they had a kid at the time.
So you knew it wasn't what it looked like.
Right. So when she said, I said, "Why?" And I caught myself like making that face, and she was like, well, I was like, "Oh, like, but why though? Like, why would you even say that?" She was like, "Because they post cute pictures of my niece and everything, and they look so cute. They go out." And in my mind, I'm just like, that don't mean nothing. Like, you don't know. Like, I live with these people. They don't. Yeah. They ain't like that. So for me, I feel like really, it's just such a facade. And I've been put in a trap of like, oh, like you need to post me so like these girls can leave me alone and shit like that. And it's just like, and to some degree, yeah, I had to do that because I wasn't the best nigga. But even so, even if I was like a faithful guy, it's just like, I don't like having to be told what to do and put that pressure just because you feel insecure. It's like...
And it just goes back to like feeling validated and only feeling validated through social media, because at the end of the day, like, why do people need to know like who you're dating? Why do people need to know your every move? If somebody asks you if you're dating somebody, you should say yes, obviously. But like, I don't need to, because I'm off Instagram right now, but I don't post, like, I don't feel the need to post other people even on my Instagram because it's my Instagram, So... but I know a lot of girls who feel like, well, like, we're dating, so you have to post me, or like if they're not on their boyfriend's page, it's a problem.
Yeah, and like I really feel like that stems from like the validation, a whole lot of like just insecurity. I feel like it stems from what I call like that competition anxiety, which I feel like a lot of like women have. Is like if they know like their man is like viable to have other women, it's like they want like them all those other women to know like, yo, he's mine, you can't have him, he's over here. But it's like, even if he did post you, that ain't gonna stop him from really doing what he would really want to do.
Yeah, and I think
that's for you.
And like, I think that's what, I don't know how people get that like twisted up in their brain, because like a guy who doesn't want to be with you, or a guy who's gonna cheat on you, is gonna cheat on you regardless of whether he has you on his page or not. Or a girl who wants to slide in your man's DMs. Nowadays, females are very bold. So if she wants to talk to him, she don't care if you're on his page. If he's answering, then she's gonna keep responding.
And I've gotten those before where it'd be like, oh, like I got a few DMs when I had girlfriends, and they'll be like, oh, like, you're so cute. I know you got a girlfriend.
People want you more when you're in a relationship.
Right, and that stems from because they know, they see a man who has somebody and they want that. It all goes back to like, if all the women want him, then he must have something special.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it's like, not only she wants him, every woman isn't after him. And I feel like, I've gotten that many times where like, girls would have came up to me or DM me thinking like, I would reciprocate that. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't, depending on how I was feeling. But like a lot of times it wouldn't go much out of the DM. But the simple fact was, it was like, oh, like, how come y'all messaging me now that I'm with her? Yeah. But when I'm single,
nobody has anything to say.
No one got a word to say to your boy, at all. So, like, especially nowadays, like, and not so much. I feel like so much better as I'm single, because like I don't think twice about like posting like a show's picture and everything, and then like having to get a text like, why'd you post that? Take that down. It's just like, nah, like I'm doing this just for that, like to get that feedback, to get that attention, to get that DM and everything. And it's just like, I would feel better knowing that I can, hell, even post a selfie and like get a DM off that and everything. And it's just like, that's just exactly how I would want it to be, and not have that guilty conscience like, damn, like, I'm a homegirl, can't say nothing.
Right. Like, so how do you feel about the current state of like dating culture?
Dating or relationships?
I mean, I guess relationships. I don't know.
Well, I'll speak on dating, because I feel like I'm back into the game. So with that being said, as far as the dating culture goes, I feel like there's a lack of understanding. And what I mean by that is, men in dating, they're obviously, they're not looking for like long-term relationships. Women come into dating looking for long-term relationships. And that ends up, you end up going like this every time you don't match. ironically on Tinder. Like you may match, but you don't match. Like, and for me, like I said, I'm on there now, so it's like I'll read 1,000 bios. I don't do hookups. I'm looking for friends, or I'm looking for a man. I'm just like, why are you on here? Right. Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, because somebody told me Tinder is like the place for hookups. I've never like been on Tinder.
Yeah, like, but it is, but it isn't. And for me, it's just like whenever I see those bios, I'll be like, I'm gonna swipe right anyway.
Right.
Then they match with me. Then I hit them up, and it's just like, you ain't talking about no relationship stuff with me.
Yeah.
So like, what's that bio for? And I feel like that's just a way to like just to make that know, like, oh, I'm not some hoe here looking for hookups, when it's just like, yeah, you are. Yeah. Like, and it's so like, you just don't want to be labeled that.
And it's okay if that's what you want.
Right, and it's like, listen, man, I don't judge. Anybody could be a hoe. Anybody could be a thought. I was a thought. Like, that double standard to me, I feel like is one thing it shouldn't really exist. Mm-hmm. Because even though men get praised for having multiple sexual partners and women get, chastised for having multiple sexual partners, it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, like, fuck are you fucking? Like, that's, and who you tell and who you not tell, that's on you.
Right.
Like, for me, it's like, I'm not out here telling everybody who I'm with.
Nobody needs to know.
Nobody needs to know. And it's just like, some women would look at me as a hoe if I said all the shit I've done. And it's just like, they wouldn't want to be with me because of those things. But it's just like, I feel like, women get that confused when they come into the dating scene and they think that they're going to find someone who's
they're going to find their soulmate, and y'all just not there yet, basically.
Right. Like, if he take you to a bar, he ain't looking to marry you.
Right. Right. So for me, I think like the current state of dating is very sad. Just like I was saying earlier, how I talked to my grandmom and hearing how it used to be. I just think it's so unfortunate that like people don't know how to talk to each other anymore, I feel like. And you're meeting people on social media, so from RIP the connection isn't that genuine. And then you're meeting in person, and hopefully it does go to become a more genuine bond. But I feel like a lot of the times it doesn't, and it's because our phones, like you said earlier, what's in our pockets.
Yeah, and it really, it's funny too, because I read that we communicate so much on our phones, and it's taken away our social ability
to speak face to face.
Like it's like people compare that to a muscle, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not using that, you're not gonna learn how to talk to people in general, you know what I mean, in public. And for me, like, I've always enjoyed public speaking. Like, I did poetry, I've done speeches, I'm doing shows like this. Like, I enjoy those things. So for me, sometimes like especially nowadays, I'm not gonna be texting you all day. Like, if I'm trying to meet you, like, don't be like, oh, like, I don't know, like, what are you trying to do? I'm just like, I'm trying to meet you. Like, I'm not with this anymore. Right. I'm not in high school, not in college anymore. It's like, what are we doing texting all day? Like, like, to maybe
young bull stuff.
Right, like maybe to establish, a connection real quick to introduce myself, but that's not going to be how that's not our direction. And I always see like, oh, don't be hitting me up with what are you doing every 20 minutes. I never understood that.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten that what are you doing every 20 minutes?
Yeah, I have.
That's a real thing?
I stopped like answering. Yeah, I have, because I'm doing the same thing I was doing 20 minutes ago. So, but for you, because I have a lot of male friends. One of my greatest friends, especially, we've been friends since I was in high school. He shared with me about how girls feel more comfortable texting, and then when he like finally asked to hang out, that girls kind of like stray away from that. Has that been your experience? And why do you think that is? Because
you lose that mystery when you start revealing too much up front. You want that mystery to carry over when you meet that person. And so let's say, we match on Tinder or something like that, and we are going back and forth for like a whole hour. Well, now you already know me. You probably discovered a few things you might not want to get to know further.
Right.
So why would I go out with you?
Yeah.
You want to be like, hey, what's up? Oh, where you from? From here. Where you from? I'm from here. You know what I mean? Oh, we'd like to do. I'd like to do this, that, and the third. Hey, want to, hang out sometime? I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you where my mom from. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the high school. None of that shit matter if I'm texting you.
Yeah.
Or like, that's not what's going on. I'd rather see you in person. We establish that connection and we're getting to know each other then, because then and only then, like, you feel like you're sharing a moment, you're sharing a bond. It's that intimacy right there that's playing a part in it. And even then, I still don't divulge everything. It's just like, and I've made that mistake, So I'm very open, and I can't help but talk all the fucking time. So it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, you know, that's cool, you know, and not say nothing.
Yeah.
And just sit there, and then whatever she talks about, I'll ask about that, but not much for me.
But just from like my experience, like in dating in the past or whatever, like that first like meetup after texting for a while is very like
it's
you
awkward.
feel very strange when like it's just so crazy to think that people really used to like meet each other when they were outside. That sounds horrible to say, right? But it is so weird. So I did have something for you that I wanted to know. What's one thing that you've always wanted to ask a girl, a woman?
Damn. One thing? I don't know. Like, I guess because I have such like a male bias, I already have like answers in my head for shit that I probably never asked anyway. I just came to that of my own conclusion just by either seeing or like hearing about shit. I don't know, off the top of my head. How come y'all don't overtly communicate that y'all want the same things that men want, i.e. like sex?
Like, I think it's because like, you know, and I think it's getting better now because women are more liberated in that way. But I think before, it was just that like we didn't want people to think that we were like fast, or we didn't want people to think that we were hoes. And again, the narrative is starting to change because like, you know, pussy power movement and all that stuff is going on. So I think it's starting to change in that way. But I would honestly say, just out of fear, like we don't want anybody to call us a hoe. Like. And I mean, some girls might have liked that, and I don't even like to use the word because I don't really consider anybody a hoe, because I feel like your body is your own. But I would have to say that that's probably why, like, females are scared to admit that.
Yeah, like, and for me, my own reason for that, like, my answer for that would be like, let's say they are upfront about that, but they're also looking for a long-term relationship. They don't want to look like, oh, I'm so easy, now you don't want to be with me. I know I do want sex from him, but now I have to act like...
So a girl you're seeing or a girl you're taking out wants sex on the first night. Are you just like, are you immediately writing her off as a hoe, or you don't care?
Hell no. Like, I appreciate that shit. Like, if you're on that type of time, that lets me know, like, you know what you want.
And you're an adult.
You're an adult. I'm not with that shit. Like, if I bring you over, if I come over...
3 months.
I was like, fuck no, like, I want to fuck. Like, that to me, I feel like that's along with me getting to know you.
Right.
If I know if I can enjoy sex with you, I'm probably going to stick around.
Right.
But like, if the sex is trash, or you ain't like, if by the third date we ain't fuck, I'm not with you. Like, I just whatever. Like, that's dead to me. Like, I'm not about to sit here and play games with you. Like, I'm just not. Like, I feel like, to me, because sex is very important in the sense, like, if I'm going to be with you and you're going to be someone I'm with long term, I'm not going to wait 6 months to find out, like, we ain't...
Whether. And that's what I always think of, like, couples who wait till they're, like, married to, like, have sex. I'm just like,
that just freaks me the fuck out.
I'm like, so, like, what if, like, it's trash?
Yeah.
And, like, now you're stuck with that for the rest of your life. People are like, oh, my God, it's so magical. Hell no.
Nah, fam.
No.
I remember I waited, like, my third girlfriend. This was my second long-distance relationship, and she was from Jersey. Finally got to have sex with her and everything, and I was her first, but it was just like, it wasn't even like that spectacular as I thought it would be. And she looked great, like she looked fantastic and everything, but
it just wasn't it.
Nah, and it was just so funny because over time, like it was like that time, and I want to say probably since I've known her, I want to say we had sex like at least 5 times. And I met her. I met her like when I was a sophomore, and I didn't really even start to get a chance to really explore her body till like I was already an adult, and I'm pretty sure she had fucked already, and so have I. So it was just like it was great to have done that with her, but it was just like it wasn't the same. I would have like had that then. So now like the whole chemistry that we had, like it was definitely different. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I feel you. So, do you think so you're saying sex is an important part of relationships?
Absolutely. Like I feel like, and like I said, most females won't admit that shit because they don't want to come off a certain way. you know, you might meet a nigga like me. It's just like, you know, if that's what you enjoy, like.
But I feel like a lot of men are like you more so nowadays.
But even then, I kind of still feel like, you know, men, if they feel like, you know, women are down to have sex and everything, they won't necessarily take them serious in that way. Like, they feel like, you know, they'll just use them for sex. But for me, it's just like, if I feel like you cool to hang around, like, we can be cool to hang around and everything, like, that's just what it's going to be. But just know it's going to be sex involved too.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all that shit is.
Right.
So.
Well, thank you so much for coming back again, and now you're stuck with me forever. We're great friends. No, just your hands are cold.
Yeah.
So we'll be back actually in 2 weeks. We won't be doing a recording next week because next week is Thanksgiving. So we'll be back with a whole new show and a huge treat for you guys, and we will have a guest on that show in 2 weeks. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching the Weekly Read. It's been another great show with Colby. And happy Thanksgiving.
Hey.
Happy Thanksgiving. See you guys.